So you have picked out the toys and the beds and the crates and the bowls and the leashes and the harnesses, and your puppy haul seems complete. Or is it? What about veterinary care? Have you picked out a vet to help care for your pup when they aren't well or they need their yearly checkups? In this video, I'm going to share some tips for picking out the perfect vet for you and your pup. Now, before we begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss when another video goes live. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog. Now, there are tons of vets out there to choose from, and they aren't all the same. Some vets are like your primary care physician, while others specialize in things like nutrition, heart, eyes, and even animal behavior. Yes, you heard me right. Unless your vet has their credentials after their name to indicate that they hold an additional degree in animal behavior, be cautious about the advice they attempt to give you regarding behavior and training for your pup. Having been a certified trainer myself for over 20 years now, I can tell you that I have run into a lot of vets that dish out absolutely terrible and counterproductive training advice. Some vets even recommend old school, fear-based style of training, or even suggest things that make me scratch my head and wonder if they even have the pup's best interest in mind. For example, I heard all too often vets recommending frozen washcloths for teething pups. Yeah, these are the same vets who are surgically removing washcloths from the dog's intestines after the dog ate them. Please, don't give your dog frozen washcloths. Instead, you can give them a frozen-filled Kong or a West Paw towel. Now, I have a video all about filler ideas here in this video. I'll post any products I mention in the description below this video too. Another iffy piece of advice I often hear from vets is not to take your dog outside before they've had all their rounds of vaccinations. Now, I am not saying throw caution to the wind and expose your dog to diseases and illness unnecessarily or at all, but any vet that tells you not to take your dog outside doesn't understand how crucial it is to take a dog out into the real world safely so they don't have extreme fear later in life. We are seeing more and more dogs with extreme fear issues because they were underexposed as pups. Now, without proper and positive exposure early on in a pup's critical imprint period, we are setting a pup up for the possibility of lifelong issues and fear. Now, exposure doesn't mean your dog is interacting with other dogs. I mean, it could. But instead, we are positively introducing our dogs to various items and situations that our dogs may encounter later in life to avoid future fears, negative associations, or problems. Now, this means we will need to take them out of the home before they have had all their shots, but in a safe manner so they don't pick up some deadly sickness like parvo. Now, for more info on how you can expose your dog to the real world around them safely and before they have had all their vaccines, check out this video here. Now, this is also why it's important to pick the vet who understands the balance between keeping your puppy physically and mentally healthy. On a side note, if you're trying to take your pup outside to potty, like you should be doing, and you're still having a little bit of difficulty, be sure to grab the free new puppy starter kit. There are several lessons in there all about potty training and belt training, and common mistakes to avoid as a new puppy owner. There are several printable resources to help you with potty training too. The link is in the description below this video. Okay, let's talk about what else you should look for in a really good vet. Now, when you call a potential vet's office, you can ask them about pricing and availability. See if they have a puppy plan or offer packages for new clients. Don't choose cheap just to save money, but make sure the quality they offer matches the price you can afford. There are vets out there that cut corners or have outdated equipment, so when you go to the office, if they allow you to go in, be sure to scan around the place to see if it looks clean and modern. Ask them how frequently their equipment is updated or maintained. Now, while we're talking about updated things, I also want you to ask them how frequently they offer their staff, including the vets, continued education. Is the staff up to date on the current veterinary care practices? For example, a few years ago, the American Animal Hospital Association expanded their programs to include courses for veterinary hospitals and their staff to help them out more about animal behavior and calming techniques that they should be using during interactions with cats and dogs coming into their clinics. Now, everything from how they enter an exam room to the calming aids such as Adaptil they use in the clinics are covered in these courses. All too often, vets and staff try to rush into the room, examine your pup, and move on to the next patient without actually taking into consideration the animal's comfort level during the whole process. Those that are AHA or AAHA certified understand the need to slow things down a bit for each animal, while recognizing the need for a positive reinforcement along the way to make the experience pleasant for everyone. Now, one trainer tip we share with our students enrolled in our online puppy training program is to set up victory visits with your pet. This means that you are going to visit the vet's office just to allow your pup to maybe get a cookie from the staff member or take a sniff around the building or even in the lobby, all without any actual invasive procedures being done. No vaccines, no exams, just a fun little visit to create a positive experience. Now, if your pup only ever goes to the vet for shots when they're in pain, what kind of association do you think your pup's gonna have with that place? Not so good, right? So be sure to set up victory visits ahead of time. Let's keep moving. I have a few more tips I'd like to share with you. All right, when you call up to interview a potential office, let's be real here. That is what's going on. You want to make sure that you pick someone you feel most comfortable with. So it is kind of like an interview process. Now, you're going to want to ask them what their hours of operation are. Do they have evening hours, maybe 1 or 2 nights a week? Believe me, knowing this ahead of time can be the difference between a regular office visit fee or having to go to the emergency vet after hours. Let me tell you, that emergency vet visit near me is an automatic $120 just to walk in the door. That doesn't include any emergency care or procedures that need to be done. Okay, next up. Ask the potential office if they're accepting new patients and also if you will be allowed in the room with your pet when they are examined. Now, due to the COVID restrictions, you may only be able to sit in your car and wait for the exam to be done. When picking the right vet, be sure to know how close or how far away they are from you. Maybe you don't mind driving clear across town for a vet visit, but knowing this will help you plan ahead better. You're going to need to take your pup to go potty before the car ride and secure them in their crate before you even start driving. Now, once you get there, you will need to take them to go potty again so they don't have an accident in the office visit. For more information on the best way to travel with your pup in the car, be sure to watch this video here. Now, one thing I always stress to my students is you are your dog's advocate. Since your pup can't speak and you know your pup best, be sure to be your pup's advocate in the office. If your pup is showing signs of stress, or you think the vet is moving too fast or making your dog extremely uncomfortable, speak up. If your vet is suggesting old school, scary training techniques, speak up. No forceful or aversive tools should be suggested by your vet. Just because they're wearing a white coat doesn't mean they know it all. Now, we do have to be respectful of vets. They did go through about 8 years of college and training to be able to practice. But as I have said before, most vets are like primary care physicians, only they can perform some routine surgeries. If you think you need a second opinion, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. My Irish Wolfhound almost got her leg amputated by a vet who I thought I could trust, but as it turns out, he not only gave us terrible advice and had us administering meds to my puppy that were actually only for a mature adult dog. I'm really glad that I got a second opinion because her leg did not have to be amputated. Now, when you go into your appointment with your pup showing any kind of illness or health issues, be as detailed as possible when talking to the vet. Tell them when the pup last ate and drank and their bathroom habits and any odd behaviors you may have noticed. One thing that has really helped me stay organized with all the info I get from the vets and the rescue groups or breeders is to use a 3-ring binder for each pup. I keep all the vaccine records and surgery records and the rabies certificate in there too. This binder has actually come in handy so many times when I've had to go out of town suddenly and either had to have a pet sitter come to watch the dogs or I've taken them with me. I grab the binder and all the info is organized and ready to go. You never know who is going to need to see proof of vaccines or if you need to check to see when something is due. Now, before I share my last tip with you, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Okay, next up. I often hear disheartened new puppy owners tell me their vet said the puppy was terrible in the office visit, and their vet told them that their dog was extremely hyper, and if they didn't get a handle on that ASAP, their dog was going to be an unruly mess as an adult dog. First of all, this would be like a red flag for me and indicate this vet doesn't really know a lot about canine behavior and development. Of course, a puppy is going to be hyper or anxious in a small room with tons of smells and a stranger and all this overstimulation. Puppies are being exposed to new people and places and situations pretty regularly. It should be no surprise to a vet that a puppy is going to act a little different when presented with unfamiliar people and situations. Please don't get disheartened if a vet ever tells you that. Instead, it may be time to look for a different vet who understands canine behavior better, or even a vet who is AHA certified, as I mentioned earlier. You might even hear a vet tell you, well, you better get this pup into training class ASAP. It's common thought that a group class will solve all problems. Not true, my friend, not true. I used to teach group classes for almost my entire career. What I discovered is group classes can be way too overwhelming for young puppies. Too many distractions doesn't make for the best learning experience for both you and the pup. Now, many of our students started out in a group class or with a really expensive private trainer and discovered it wasn't the right fit and it was actually lacking. For this reason, we had developed our online puppy training program where you can learn and train from home with less distractions and at a much slower pace. As your pup gets better and better around various levels of distractions, you can increase difficulty of your training lessons. It is a slow, gradual start, not all dumped on you at once like the group class. Besides, when you're done with the group class, you don't have any resources to review or look back on like you do with our online puppy training program. Now, the link is below if you'd like to check it out. Okay, my last tip, and I think this one is really important. It is important that you prepare your pup for the vet exams by working on body handling. This means you're going to make a positive association with handling various spots on your pup. If you think about what actually occurs in a vet visit, dog's ears are checked, their mouth is opened so the vet can look at the gums and teeth, their legs and their paws are handled, their tail is lifted, and they're getting a cold stethoscope to the tummy or underarm area. Now, you can actually help your vet and your puppy by working on handling exercises at home before the actual vet visit. It's not about just grabbing your pup's paws and shoveling treats in their mouth. We want to break these training sessions down into baby steps or smaller, more manageable sessions and build on them as you go. Now, you might first start with a hand coming near them, not even touching them, and then they get a treat or a piece of kibble. Maybe you do this a few times and then you end the session. You might start the next session with a warm-up of the previous step and then touch your pup while giving them the kibble. Your ultimate goal is to touch or examine all the things like I mentioned a few moments ago. If you can have other people you know or the dog knows practice this as well, this can really help your pup during the real exam by the vet. On a side note, this same concept can be used to help your dog before they start going to regular grooming appointments too. Okay, to recap, you're going to interview potential vets in your area and pick the one that is best aligned with your training methods, your price point, and who is knowledgeable about canine behavior. Now, you're going to stay on top of victory visits and body handling so your pup has a positive experience at the vet's office. You're going to be your dog's advocate by asking questions, and don't be afraid to get a second opinion. Okay, in the comments below, tell me, how are you preparing your puppy for their vet visits?